What is going on, clan? Welcome back to Dark Souls. We do have two more parts after this part, but they're a lot shorter. Now, before we actually initiate the final boss battle, I do recommend going back to the Firelink Shrine. Now, you won't be able to do this if you kill the final boss, so I recommend going there now, buying the Crystal Rapier, and then defeat the final boss. It's going to help us out in our farming afterwards, or you can always have a friend drop you one as well. But once you're ready, we can go into the final boss. You can buff up, or you can summon a friend as well, or summon that NPC there if you're embered. Now it's important that after we kill the final boss, we don't interact with anything. We're going to be using a backup method to back up our save. That way we can get more than one ending in one playthrough. And then we'll do one more playthrough afterwards to get another ending. And then if you still need rings, we'll do a quick third playthrough. But for now, just keep fighting the boss. In his second phase, he's just going to go a bit more crazy. And he's got a bigger reach of a weapon, and he can also grab you, so just be careful of that. As you can see, you can summon an NPC as well if you're struggling. And I recommend using that Pyro Chaos Bed Vestiges spell, so that way you can destroy the enemy really easily. Having the NPC is always good, of course, because then you can just kind of juggle aggro. But again, once you defeat him, please do not interact with anything. So you're going to see a bonfire appear. You don't want to interact with any of that. You're going to make your way back to the Firelink Shrine. So after defeating him, you'll get the Soul of the Lord's soul from the boss. If you're bad at the game, you can pick up your souls. I don't know who those are, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to go back to the Firelink Shrine. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to quit out of the game. Now, you can either back up your save with the cloud, or if you don't have PS Plus, you can use a USB since this is a PS4 title. So as you can see, you can just go into your save data, go into your console storage, and upload it to cloud, or you can copy it to the USB. You can also do this from the options menu on the actual game itself if you press options when you're hovering over the game cover. But as you can see, I just copied over to a USB, and then I reload my game. So after you've backed up your save with whatever method you decided to do, we can then go to the bonfire here. We're going to travel back to the kiln of the first flame where the final boss was at. You can then make your way back up to the top. And having that backup is good too in case you ever mess anything up. At least you have one that's pretty far ahead. But our first thing we're going to do is just interact with the bonfire. So you're going to get a cutscene when you interact with the bonfire. And this is going to get you the Usurption of Fire trophy, or that ending. After that, you can just press options on the game menu, download your backup save, or you can go through the settings as well, and then reload the game and load the game back up. This time in the Firelink Shrine, before we leave, we're going to give the Firekeeper her eyes. You don't have to talk to her after that. You can just give her her eyes and then go to the kiln of the first flame where the final boss is. This is going to give us another ending. Once you make your way back towards where the boss room was, instead of interacting with the bonfire, you're going to notice a summon sign over here on the left. So again, you've given the Firekeeper her eyes, and then you summon the Firekeeper. It's going to trigger another cutscene, and then after the cutscene, you'll get another ending trophy. Now, instead of going into New Game Plus, what you want to actually do is hit no for this part. So after the credits, it's going to ask if you want to begin Journey 2, which is New Game Plus. We're going to do a bit of cleanup before we do that, and also some farming. So why don't you hit no? It'll just make the farming easier if we do it on just your first playthrough. And once you get back to the Firelink Shrine after hitting no, if you accidentally hit yes, you can reload your backup save. But you want to come up to this throne in the shrine and get our 57th ring, the skull ring. Now after you get that ring, we're going to do some more cleanup, so we're just going to go to another area. We're going to the Road of Sacrifices. Now, you'll remember in here there was that elevator lift that we used to get up to the giant. We basically want to do the same thing. So you just ride it up to the first floor. Then you trigger it and then jump off. And then when the next platform comes down, you take that up to the giant. Now, unfortunately, the giant was such a real one, and this really hurts to do, but we have to actually kill him for one of the rings. So go ahead and kill our friend. He's been very useful, and I didn't expect him to drop so easily. But as you can see, that's going to get us another ring. Now again, you don't have to do any of this if you're having a friend drop you the rings. After you get the ring, you can then use the coiled sword to go back to the shrine. Now we're going to be working on all the gem infusions, getting a +10 weapon, and also farming all of our covenant items. Now you may be asking me what that tongue do, and I'm about to show you. So the symbol of Avarice is a helm item that you can get in the game. It slowly drains your health, but it increases your item discovery. Now that raises your item discovery, but if you didn't get a symbol of Avarice whenever you were playing through and killed mimics, then you have to farm for one. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to buy all of these from the handmaid and go to Yorm the Giant Bonfire. So you want to buy as many undead hunter charms as you can and then head to this bonfire. Now if you did get a symbol of Avarice and you don't need to do this farming, I'll have a timestamp of course so you can skip this part. But if you didn't get one for some reason, maybe you were just unlucky or you don't have a friend who can drop you one, then what we can do is we can come to Yorm the Giant with those undead charms. And to our left outside of the doorway is going to be a bunch of these priestesses. And as you attack one, there's going to be a gargoyle that comes down. And there's another one that comes from the other side. So what I found to be pretty useful is to not get hit, obviously. And I tend to just lure them over to the doorway. So lure them back into this boss room area. And then you can just stand back and use your Bed Vestiges spell or whatever spell you're using and just take them all out. Now, then you can take out the next group right there of the priestess that were behind. Just make sure you don't accidentally hit the mimics. And then you can run up and hit the mimics. And once you hit them, you want to have the Undead Hunter Charm ready to press square on your action bar. And that's going to put them to sleep. And that considers a roll on their drop table. So as you can see, I got a shield and some rusted coins, which also boost discovery. You can use those to try and help farm for those, but basically you just want to keep doing that, and you can also use a ring to up your item discovery as well. And every time they wake up, you're just going to use the Undead Hunter Charm again. That's going to put them back to sleep, and you're going to drop an item, or they may drop an item, and we're eventually going to get the symbol of Avarice. You can also, again, have a friend drop it, but I figured it was worth showing you how to farm it. And you can also buy these rusted coins from patches you can see in the bottom right, and those increase item discovery, and those are pretty good for covenant farming as well. You don't have to get them, it just increases your chances of getting drops. So again, those are bought from patches if you do want to increase your item discovery. But keep doing this until you get the symbol of Avarice if you had to farm for it. And then next we can do our gem checklist. So next up, we want to get the Infusion trophy. So the Infusion trophy requires you to do all of the different types of gem infusions on a weapon. You don't actually have to use them, you just have to infuse it. So I'm going to show you how you can farm all of the gems. Now the first one, the dark gem, you can just come to the high wall of Lothric. And you can run past these enemies. And then make your way up the staircase. And you'll remember those kind of corruption type enemies. And there's one that spawns right here. And you can see here that he spawns and they have a chance to drop it. Now you may already have these as well, so I recommend just looking through your inventory at first to see which ones you need and then use the timestamps below. So you can do that until you get a dark gem if for whatever reason you don't have one. And then on the other side of the bonfire, if you kill these guys, you have a chance of getting a raw gem, which is another one of the 10 that we need. So as you can see, you've got the raw gem. So that's already 2 gems down. Next up, we're going to look for the refined gem. And this is from the dancer's bonfire up the ladder. And if you go straight ahead into the room with the knight with red eyes, a lot of these drops you should get pretty easily, and I recommend again using the crystal rapier. You don't necessarily have to be attacking with it, but whenever you equip it, you're going to have increased item discovery. So go ahead and kill the knights with the red eyes. And then they have a chance to drop the refined gem, as you can see there. So farm that if you need to, or if you already have it, you can skip that one. Next up, from the Cleansing Chapel, we're going to get the Blessed Gem. I'm going to show you where to get one so you don't have to farm for one. Now, I did do this whenever I could, but basically come over to this shortcut and take the lift up. Then go outside of this room and up the ladder. And I figured if I show you where to find one, then you don't have to sit there and farm and, kind of hope you get lucky with it. So next up, we're going to drop onto the roof. Next, you want to go right. And then we're going to go to those rafters that are basically above the area in this room to the left. And again, you'll see some of those assassins and the knights. So you just want to be careful when you're traversing over here so you don't fall off like I almost did. Remember, when you're targeting enemies, sometimes the rolling is a bit dodgy. So I recommend not rolling while you're targeting. Otherwise, you may fall off like I almost did. But we're going to make our way over to the end part over there where you can see an item on a dead body. You can kill the knight here as well. That way you don't have to worry about actually having to fight him. And then we're going to get a blessed gem. Now next up, we are going to the Crystal Sage Bonfire. There's actually 2 devout sages you can kill here. There's one right at the doorway here. And if you go down the path a little bit more, there's another. Or you can just kill the one and then keep resting. But keep killing them until they drop the gem that you need. And again, if you don't need it, you can just skip that. You may have a crystal gem already. After that, go to the Halfway Fortress if you need a hollow gem. Now from the Halfway Fortress, if you turn around and go back as if you were going towards the Road of Sacrifices, you'll find all these pigeon enemies. And if you kill this main pigeon, then he has a chance of dropping that gem. So you can kill him, and then you can either run back to the bonfire or use the coiled sword to teleport. And then just keep running back up and killing him. Now chances are you likely have the deep gem, but if you don't, it's back in the reservoir on a dead body there. And that's pretty much it. Nice easy spawn. And then you can head over to the Keep Ruins, and I'm going to show you where there's a spawn for a poison gem. So from the Keep Ruins, if you go around the ledge here on this left side, and then up ahead is where the fire door is to open up the door. Instead of going that way, we'll drop down and we'll sort of hug the wall we were just on, wrapping all the way around into the back, and you'll see those, I don't know what the fuck those things are, guys. You'll see these 3 big dudes. Just start blowing them up with magic, and you're going to find yourself a poison gem. After that, you can go to the Farron Keep perimeter, and you can farm these guys for a heavy gem if you did not get a heavy gem. Chances are you would have gotten one, but again, I just want to show this just in case whatever reason you don't have it, or maybe you've accidentally sold it, whatever the case may be. I don't want to leave you guys without a chance to get the trophy, but you can skip these again with the timestamps. So then you can just rest, go back, kill them again. After that, from the Abyss Watchers bonfire, we're going to go get a sharp gem. This one isn't a farming, thankfully. It's just a fixed spawn location. If you go straight into the catacombs and go left, you'll see the skeleton that reanimates. And you can just run past. And there's an enemy up ahead as well. If you're quick, you can just jump off and then land over on this ledge. And then go out through this door to the right. And this should be open already for you, but if not, there's an illusionary wall there where I just swung. And then you can find the sharp gem sitting on a body right here. After that, we can go to the Old King's Antechamber. This is how we're going to get a Chaos Gem. Chances are you won't have this one. So just make your way through the doorway. Go to the right. You may have to kill some big guy. He's not too bad, especially if you're using magic. You should have the better spell as well. I had to use my great Chaos Fire Orb because I finished the game and I didn't actually grab that spell. So again, make sure you had done everything before the boss, which you should have because I've given you a reminder beforehand. Keep going all the way through this area after that enemy, and then you'll find a lizard. Go ahead and kill him for a Chaos Gem. That's one of the easier ones to get to, so I figured it was worth showing. And then we can go to the Church of Yorshka for a Blood Gem. And you just want to head outside. And then you're going to go left down the stairs. You'll go back through that dark room on the right where it has all of those invisible enemies. And again, when you're in here, you want to just keep rolling so you don't get jumped on like I did. Again, I think I like got fucked in this room every time. Like I just stopped rolling. So don't be like me, guys. Don't be trash like me. Because as you can see, I got stuck. And yeah, it was pretty brutal. But anyways, once you get through that dark room, drop off the edge here. Make sure you have enough health. And then you'll get ambushed by some of the invisible guys. You can just kill them really quick. And then grab your item, your blood gem, on the dead body. Alright guys, so after you get the blood gem, the next gem we're going to get is from the Pontiff Sullivan area. We're going to get the simple gem. So in order to do that, I'll speed this part up so I'm not wasting your time. But make your way outside of the boss room. We're going to head up the long spiral staircase there. We're going to jump over here under the platform to the left and then go right up the stairs. And then once up the stairs, make another right. Go straight down. You'll be in Pontiff's room, but up on top. And you want to just go around the edge until you find this lizard and kill it for the simple gem. So now we're in Pontiff's room up top. Now we're going to get a lightning gem, and this is back at the Church of Yorshka, but instead of the dark area we went to with those enemies, we're going to go this way instead. So you'll head out this way, go around this sort of banister here around the left. This is kind of where the shortcut is to get back to Pontiff. And you'll find these enemies here again. So what you want to do is take out all of those enemies right in front of us. Be careful that these guys don't jump up on you like they did on me. And then you can come over and kill these guys. And if you didn't get it before, it was just on this body right here. So you might have grabbed it when we grabbed the rings through our playthrough, but just in case you didn't, there it is. And then you can head over to the blacksmith. You can also back up your save now if you want to keep some of these gems. That way you can pop the trophy and then just restore the save. You don't have to back it up, but you definitely can. But basically all you have to do is use all the different types of infusions. It doesn't have to be on the same weapon. And once you've used all 10, you'll get the trophy. Now we want to go into the Covenant farming. Now this will take a little bit longer than all of that, but what you want to do is have the Crystal Rapier equipped for increased item discovery. You want to have the Symbol of Avarice as well. And one of the first ones I recommend farming for is the Proof of Concord kept, because it takes a bit of time. And you want to just go to On Orlando. Now I did look a lot into this, and it seemed that people felt the drop rate was better when offline, which I do believe, because in previous experiences with games, whenever you also close the game and reload it, it tends to reset like an RNG table basically. Now it could be all superstition. All I know is this grind only took me about 3 hours when I know most people take like 5-ish hours. So take that with a grain of salt. But basically I recommend farming it offline. You just kill these 2 knights, and as you can see I got a Proof of Concord kept. You can use the Chaos Bed Vestiges spell so you'll kill them even faster than I did. And I recommend quitting and reloading the game whenever you get one of the Covenant items. I found after doing that, my chances of getting another one of those Covenant items were increased, and I would get one fairly quickly. So again, do that after each item. You will need 30, but if you're going to do 2 more playthroughs, you can stop at 26, because I'll show you where to get 4 more throughout the story. However, you can farm up to 30 of them if you'd like, but you don't have to, because we'll be doing additional playthroughs. Now, while you kill the knights, you'll be stocking up on souls, and then you want to head back to the handmaid. And you can, for example, give her those ashes that we haven't given her yet. And you can buy the Titanite chunks, whatever you need, as well as a Titanite slab for 30,000. Now this allows you to reinforce a weapon to the highest level, which is a trophy. So you can also upgrade your Pyromancy hand if you're using that to Covenant farm. I find that I used it a fair bit while Covenant farming, so you can always upgrade that and get your trophy this way. And as you can see, we have plenty of souls because we've just been killing them. And then I just go and reinforce. And once you've done that all 10 times, you'll pop the Supreme Weapon Reinforcement Trophy. You might have a Titanite slab from playing the game as well, naturally, but that's one way you can do it. Or you can come to the blacksmith and upgrade your weapon instead if you find that you're using the weapon more than the spells. Now after you finish farming all the Concord keps from those 2 knights, and you have 26 or 30 depending on how you're going about it, Then you can come over to the handmaid in the shrine, and now we want to start buying things that we don't have. So we're doing the cleanup essentially. So here she sells 2 sorceries that we can buy and a miracle. So I'm going to buy all of those for that trophy. And then down at the bottom, you're going to find 3 rings. So you want to buy all 3 of those rings. That's going to go towards our trophy as well. Again, if you haven't had them dropped to you. After that, we're going to do some more cleanup throughout here. We're also going to get our gesture trophy if you've been following along. So next we're going to go to Orbeck. And we're going to go to talk and just go through his dialogue. After that, we want to go to learn sorceries. And you want to buy all of the spells that we actually don't have. So you can see a number held there on the right in the information tab. And if it says 0, then you know you need to buy that spell. So I'm just going through the list. Any that I see 0, I'm just buying. Again, we should have heaps of souls from killing those knights. So you want to try and keep your souls. If you for some reason kept dying or you didn't keep the souls, we're going to be doing more covenant farming, so you can come back to this timestamp. So just remember the timestamp for the cleanup. But again, we're just going through buying all of these abilities that we don't have, because there's a trophy for getting all the sorceries, all the rings, all the miracles, the pyromancies, and I believe the hexes as well. Never mind, I think hexes is Dark Souls 2. But once you've bought all the spells, go through, and now you can talk to him again. After you talk to him and you bought those spells, you'll not only get a ring, but you'll get Silent Ally Gesture. That'll be your final one for the trophy if you've been following along. And he's also going to give you a second ring, which is the Slumbering Dragoncrest ring. So quite a few things we'll get from Orbeck. And then next we can go over to Cornyx. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going through buying any of the abilities or spells that we didn't actually have. So if you see number held 0, then that means you don't have it yet. And then some of these might be different depending on if you followed my build or if you decided to buy extra spells or abilities. So again, just go through and make sure you do see that it says you have one of them, because that's what you need to pop the trophy. So go through his dialogue as well if you'd like, and then head over to Karla. Karla sells all 3 of the different types, miracles, pyromancies, as well as sorceries. So you just want to go through and buy the ones you don't have. You should again have plenty of souls, because farming all of those Concord keps does take a bit of time, and you get a decent amount of souls when you kill those knights. After you finish Karla, we're going to head to our next area of cleanup. So just follow me back past Cornyx, and then around the staircase there, we're going to go to Irina in the back. And she sells some miracles for us. You can also give her the divine tome that we collected earlier on. So you should have a divine tome to give her. And now we're going through all of hers, and we're again purchasing only the ones that we actually need. Now usually I won't let you buy duplicates anyway, so you can see how they are kind of grayed out. That means I purchased them all. Once you have all 10 of hers, I believe she sold, then you can head over to the Lothric castle if you're farming the sunlight metals offline. So if you don't have 30 sunlight metals, and let's say you didn't get any through co-op, or you didn't get enough and you just want to farm them all out now, a way you can do it is from the Lothric castle bonfire. You can kill this knight and then just rest the bonfire and repeat. And you can also use the coins for increased item discovery. Now if you don't want to farm it offline, I'm going to give you other ways. Again, you can try to find people through co-op, just randoms. The game's fairly old now, so it might not be necessarily an easy thing to do, but you're just killing bosses. And shout out to Rayminator there, some random that I played with. Now if you are wanting to farm it by killing bosses, another thing you can do here, shout out to the Azure Chaos or Dante here, my friend. He was helping me out, and what we were doing is, again, you need to have the Sunlight Metal Covenant equipped, so that way you come in as a Sun Bro. That's why I'm gold. And what he was doing was he would back up his save before the Vort boss fight at the start of the game. And then after each kill, he would reload his save, he would resummon me in, and I would kill him again, get the Sunlight Metal, and we just rinse and repeat. So you can farm it that way as well, by him backing up his save or your partner backing up their save. And then we're going to go on to our next Covenant farming. This is for the Vertebra Shackles. If you want to do this offline, you need to do it in the Catacombs. And again, you need to have all your farming gear on. So Catacombs of Karthus, you're going to have the symbol of Avarice, the crystal rapier, and then the ring as well if you want to just have a little bit more item discovery. Now what you want to do from the bonfire, just avoid the ball skeleton there. And then over here is going to be 2 enemies. Now you want to kill these 2 guys really quick. Sometimes they're usually right next to each other. I'm not sure what the fuck that guy was doing that time. But usually they're right next to each other. And we want to just keep farming them to get 30 vertebrae shackles. This is a offline farming method, so I'll make sure I give you online method as well. Now I will say online is faster, but both, methods work. So you need 30 of these to buy the Pyromancy spell, so we will have to farm 30. If you have a boosting buddy and you want to do it online, you can equip the Mound Maker's Covenant. And what this does is this puts a purple sign down on the ground whenever you use your sign. So shout out to my wife. I had her load up a copy of the game so then I could put my sign down and she could summon it in her world and I could just farm her for the demonstration of this guide. So shout out to my wife, Naki. And as you can see, every time she summons me in, I'm going to get a vertebrae shackle whenever I kill her. So you can farm the 30 that way as well. I apologize for the booty crumb frames. I'm not sure what the fuck happened with that recording. But after that, we can have the pale tongue farming. Now, if you have all the rings, you can skip this farming. The main thing we get from this one is a ring. So if you had the rings dropped to you, you can ignore this one. That being said, it's a really fast one. So from the Farron Keep perimeter bonfire, if you head outside, you can see these dark wraiths. If you kill them, they will drop a pale tongue. Now, I got them pretty much back to back a lot of the times. They were dropping quite a lot. You don't have to actually get 10 on this playthrough if you don't want, because we'll be getting some that are dropped throughout in our other playthroughs. But if you want to just make sure you have enough, you can just farm the 10 really quick, because it also only takes about 5 minutes. Lastly, the Wolf's Blood Swordgrass farming. Now, this one is again for just rings. From the Farron Keep Ruins bonfire here, you'll find these 3 enemies lined up right here. And we can just farm it like this. So if you remember, we were farming this online throughout the game, but let's say you didn't have online. This is our offline farming method. Then all you have to do is refresh it at the bonfire, load it back up. And again, I recommend doing the quit method. So every time you get one, just quit the game and reload. It's very, very simple, but you can see they'll eventually drop one. Now, you can, again, just do it online like you had been doing if you were invading worlds. I still found the game fairly dead. I didn't get summoned quite a lot, so I do recommend just kind of doing it this way, to be completely honest. And again, if the rings were dropped to you, you won't even need to do this. So we need 30 of those, or 28, because we can grab them in subsequent playthroughs. And as you can see, I have 26 Concord Keps, 5 Tongues, 28 Vertebrae Shackles, 28 Swordgrass, and 10 Human Dregs. And I also have the 30 Sunlight Medals. Now, this is what I'm going into my next playthrough with, because I'll be grabbing some of the item spawns or the Covenant spawns throughout the world. Depending on what you're doing or how many playthroughs you are going to do, ultimately, if you're following the guide and someone dropped you the rings, you only need to do 2 playthroughs. But if you're doing it all pretty much solo, then you're going to need 3 playthroughs, which will be all in my guide. So if you just continue to follow, just kind of tailor it to whatever you're doing. We only have 2 more parts left in the guide, and next playthrough will be all shortened down into 1 video. So it'll be nice and quick for you guys. Again, a reminder, buy anything from the handmade that you want before we go into New Game Plus. If the video has helped you, why don't you leave a like to help me out, because it does get my content out there. And then also, if you're one of my real ones, why don't you leave a comment below that says, New Game Plus, let's go. And once you're ready, you can start your New Game Plus journey. And I will see you guys very soon.